Hi, welcome to another Tips for Landlords and Property Managers video brought to you by fastevic.com Law Group. In today's episode, we're going to cover 10 important rental agreement clauses you should be using. Remember, the contents of this video shouldn't be considered legal advice. What are rental agreement clauses? Clauses in rental agreements are typically used to comply with California tenant-landlord law, whereas landlords can also set their own personal rules. Must-have rental agreement clauses. Rent liability clause. Having a rent liability clause on your lease can help ensure that any tenant listed on the lease is held responsible for the full amount of the rent, even if they have roommates. If one of the roommates refuses to pay rent, you can hold other roommates accountable for the full month's rent. Severability Clause. This clause will help you in case part of your rental agreement ever becomes invalid in court. It will ensure the rest of your agreement will still hold up. Access to the property clause. This clause will help provide clarity as to when and why a landlord can access their property. The landlord has a legal right to enter their property as long as they provide a valid reason and adequate notice. Tenants should also understand that the landlord can enter their property in case of an emergency such as fire, gas, or water leak, or if there is a threat that the property can suffer serious damage. Use of premises clause. This clause should clarify that the property is designed for residential use only. In other words, the tenant shouldn't use the property to run a business. It should also include verbiage on the use of common areas, how it should only be used by people listed on the lease, etc. Holdover clause. What happens if a tenant stays past the move-out date? You may want to add this clause to define what could happen, which usually a month-to-month lease is activated. This allows you to legally collect rent. Sublet clause. Whether you would allow subletting or not, it's important to at least have your clause mention that all subletting must be approved by the landlord and the requirements the tenants should consider. Nuisance clause. It's important to provide an enjoyable place to live for all of your tenants and neighbors. You can help by ensuring your rental agreement has a clause that disallows high volumes from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Maintenance clause. Your tenant should know that they are responsible for keeping the rental property clean and free of debris and damages. Normal wear and tear is expected, and the rental unit should be kept as close as move-in condition as possible. They are also responsible for maintenance requests. Agreement Renewal Clause. It's important both parties understand what will happen once the lease expires. For example, if you are a bit cautious, you can state that the lease will automatically convert to a month-to-month if neither party submits a notice to terminate the lease. Or you can automatically renew the lease to a fixed term. Buyout Clause. Sometimes things just don't work out and don't click. Providing a buyout clause can help protect both parties by allowing either to provide a 60-day notice to break the rental agreement without a penalty. There are many local ordinances and regulations to consider before you include this clause in your agreement. Before we go, we recommend you speak with your legal advisor before using a rental agreement or making changes to your current agreement, as there are many laws and regulations constantly changing. What clauses do you consider must-haves? Let us know about them in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have found this video useful. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.